Have you ever felt like your life just slowed down? Nothing is happening when you expected it. Maybe you feel like you've hit a wall. Well, that's how I've been feeling recently. In this episode, I share why I believe God slows things down for us and what He's preparing us for instead. Let's parlay. What's going on, family? Thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you haven't already, or if this is your first time watching, please subscribe to be notified of when new episodes come out. We drop these episodes every week. My commitment this year for 2026 is to drop 52 episodes. So one episode every week, regardless of my travel plans, whatever I have going on, I'm committing to that this year. So yeah, just expect one every week. Just long story short. Yeah, for this episode, I'm really excited to talk to you about this because I feel like everybody probably goes through one of these seasons where things just get really slow and you're really wondering, like, all right, why aren't things happening when I expect them to? And I think this is a really, really crucial point in your life if you're currently going through this season, because I think there's a lot of opportunity for you to connect with God, for you to get more rooted in where you are spiritually. So that way, this moment can be something you can look back on to realize that the faith that you need to get through this season is the faith that you should carry on throughout the rest of your life, because you're always going to find another avenue to get past these sort of short periods of slowness and just lulls, whatever you want to call them. And I've been feeling like that for quite some time. I feel like the beginning of 2026 in certain areas of my life has very much slowed down. Um, you guys already know I've moved from Austin to Houston. And even with that being said, I still feel like mentally and just overall, I don't know. I just don't feel like there's too much going on. I don't feel like this crazy pressure or demand from certain areas of my life. It just feels very slow. And that's not something that I'm very used to. I feel like I've had periods of my life where I just fill up my calendar just to get busy and just to make sure that I'm doing something, or that I'm entertaining myself with watching TV or sports. And I feel like I have to, this is what I have to do and this is what and it's just been the complete opposite of that. And what I wanted to share with you today was what I feel like I was neglecting when I was moving very fast and keeping myself busy, that now I have the time to address as a result of things being slower. So if you feel like you're in that season where, man, everything is just super slow, I can't really pick up the pace like I want to, or how I'm used to, or how I would prefer to be in this season, I think that there are opportunities for you to evaluate your life and just see, okay, well, what can I give some more love and attention to? And that's what I wanted to share with you folks today. So I have a couple of things that I'm going to talk about, four different areas of my life or four different aspects of my life that I feel have gotten more attention and yeah, more care throughout this slower period. So the first one's going to be in dating, and honestly, just in my relationships with women in general. I I've all of my 20s, I think I've shared this with y'all. I was definitely outside. I was, I had been in what, probably three relationships in my adult life, and all three of those have taken, probably anywhere from like 9 months to, a little over a year for each relationship. But I stopped for a second and I realized, yo, it's been 3 whole years since I've been in a relationship. And I was like, dang. Now, in between that time, I think it was towards the end of 2024, I was talking to someone seriously, for a few months, but it wasn't, like a committed relationship, although I was treating it like it was. It was, it's been a long time. It's been a decent amount of time since I've, dated someone exclusively. And I thought back to that, and I think about where I am now mentally versus where I have been over the course of my 20s and my adult life. And it's drastically different. And I'm really appreciative for things being a lot slower because, one, I'm very much protective of what works best for me, but also respecting and communicating that and, understanding someone else's boundaries and what they got going on. So I feel like my perspective now on just interacting with women out and about has been a lot more of like a just curious approach, like just seeing who this woman is and looking past the physical. Well, obviously, if I'm attracted to him, I'm attracted to her. I can't help that. All right, the Lord gonna have to do something with my eyes about that one. But when it comes to what my mind goes to afterwards, I mean, it used to be very much like surrounded around like lustful thoughts, and then those thoughts just repeating themselves over and over again, or just the validation of that person or that woman like letting me know that they're into me and stuff, and then like chasing that dopamine. Whereas now I'm just truly looking to get to know uh, who a person is, right? And of course, it being a woman that I'm attracted to, my mind used to go to like, oh, is this my wife? Is this my potential partner? Whereas now, like just because of the fact that things have slowed down, I don't feel as much of like a pressure or a rush to find that out like immediately. Um, I want to get to know someone and just truly see if I enjoy spending time with them, and if we have a similar vision for life, and she's rooted in the Lord, then all right, well, let's explore what that could look like. So anyway, I really feel like in my dating perspective and how I treat things, I've had more attention put towards how I approach that as a result of things slowing down in my life. Whereas when I was super busy and, a lot of things were happening in business or I was traveling a lot, it felt like these opportunities to meet someone who I could potentially date were almost like my escape from those things. And I would use that as an opportunity to just get away and um, not run from my responsibilities, but sort of distract myself from them, if that makes sense. So, anyway, that's one aspect of my life that I feel like I've neglected to evaluate. I haven't neglected participating in dating, but I've neglected to evaluate how to do it better and how to do it in a healthier way. So that's one. The other one, which I'm really proud of, my growth in this front, is just with friends and family. First and foremost, I've always struggled with initiating those connections and initiating reaching out. And I've grown in that area a lot. I will say, since I've moved, there's been a lot going on, and my weekends have been a little bit more discombobulated. But throughout most of this year, every week I have a goal of reaching out to a friend or a family member just to check in and see how they're doing. And I think for me it's trying to reverse my mindset on being like super selfish and thinking that the world revolves around me. Like, oh, if they didn't hit me up, then they clearly, don't care, or then making up excuses for why I shouldn't reach out to them. It's like, look, if there's an opportunity to reach out to somebody, if somebody comes across your mind, reach out to them. You just really, really never know what that could do for that person, for that family member, but also like just to be able to represent Christ in that conversation as well too, like just to share how much my life has changed as a result of having God in my life. Um, and I've noticed that like when I've reached out to certain friends and family and they're not used to me reaching out, they're like, "Oh, this is a surprise," and it's good. It's good for that to be the case because then they know that something's different, and that something is God being in my life. So, yeah, I think that that's been a really, really impactful uh, thing that I've neglected for a while. That now that I have the time because things are slowing down, I can put more attention towards that and not treat it as if it's like a chore or something that I'm going to put off, but something that I intentionally want to do. So that's been really great. The other thing that I'll mention, just as an entrepreneur, has been the business front. So when I say that things have slowed down for me, um, yeah, like my business takes up the majority of my time. It is my work. So I've had periods where, I mean, I would work every day out of the week. So I mean, I don't even count how many hours I work just because I don't think that really matters. It's more about like how much I'm getting done. So if it's 6 days or 7 days out of the week, it just didn't matter at some point because things needed to happen. Um, and with that being said, I would focus so much on like just the process of acquiring clients and dealing with that and making that the main priority is like, okay, this process. So, first you market yourself to someone, you let them know, hey, I am this brand or company or product or service, and I can help you, right? That's the first part of business. And then the second part is taking that interest, those people who now have expressed that they want to possibly connect with you through a process to providing them the services, right? So that's an exchange of, hey, here's this dollar value for what I would like to get in return. And you go through that sales process. And then there's the actual like onboarding and servicing a client and delivering the product and the service. And I've focused a lot on the sales process throughout all of my business. And I don't blame anybody but myself for that. I just think that that's what I knew. And I was like, this is the most important thing is sales, is because this is what feeds me. And now that things have slowed down and I've adjusted my approach with things, I have put a lot more focus and energy on the two other areas, which is one, how I'm servicing my current clients and how I can make that better. But then two, how do I speak and market myself to people who actually want to work with and people who will really value working with me, especially now that I am centering my fitness coaching around my faith and leading with that. Um, I'm just a lot less concerned with making a certain amount of money and making that the main priority. And it's just given me a lot of time and energy to focus on like the social media side of things, which I've often just shot from the hip. Like I've just posted whatever made sense, and then I'd post whenever I was doing a promo or life updates, and it just there was no structure to it. And so far this year, I think it's been over 90 days. It's definitely been over 90 days. I might even be past like 100 and something days of posting every day. And I've been doing that just because I want to be consistent and I wanted to commit myself to something, but I'm also looking to understand how to uh, position myself to help people and let them know that I can help them. So, a very big part of my business that I've neglected for a while. And yeah, there's been some interesting things that I found out about what people want me to speak about so far. And we'll see if that's something I continue to do in my strategy. And I'm not going to bore you with all those details. So my business and the marketing side of things has been an area that I've neglected, that I've now had the time to put some more attention to. And the last one, which I think is a really, really interesting one. This is around community. And community can mean a lot of different things. It could be your network, the people that you connect with locally and who you're spending time with. That could be church, that could be business part, it could be clients, whatever. And I've found that I've been a lot more interested in understanding how things work locally, especially in the Houston area. And I don't want to go into a full blown rant about all the things that I've learned when it comes to Houston. But long story short, Houston is the wild, wild west of cities. I mean, it is. I think when you talk about American capitalism, Houston is like the uh, the best example of it, if that can make sense. Where very little restriction on what you can do when it comes to real estate and where you build, what you build. And there's also a lot of people coming into the city. So the market just continues to grow and grow and grow. But then there's also like established industries here, oil and gas, obviously, the medical industry. The medical center is, probably the best medical center in the country, as far as what they're doing with cancer research. And then on the real estate side, right, like Houston is probably the biggest major city with the lowest cost of living, right? Like when you compare it to like a New York or Miami or Los Angeles. I mean, even compared to Dallas, it's cheaper. So, with that being said, um, I'm saying all this to say that, and as you can tell, I've done a lot of research into this, and I think a part of it is I want to understand how the city came to be so I can understand how I can make the impact that I need to make in the future. Because if you don't understand how things came to be, then you're not going to understand the patterns or the roadblocks that usually prevent people from doing the things that they want to do here in this city. And I've just found myself really wanting to put some more time and energy into that. One way that I think about this is this Big Brothers Big Sisters program. I have a friend who did it before in Austin, and he told me about his experience. He's actually taking on uh, a new little brother through that program, and that was a reminder. And then I've been seeing the ads on Instagram, and then I went to an event the other day, and it was in a Big Brother Big Sister building, and I was like, okay, God, I think I'm supposed to be doing this. So let me sign up for this and get it going. So mentoring young men in this community is a big priority, and that's definitely going to be a part of the way that I serve. But also just community development. How do we get people on board to care about the things or get things done that we care about, I should say, and understanding like how things work, how things function in the local government. I don't know why, but that has just been an area of strong interest for your boy recently. I think after turning 30, like my frontal lobe, it really I just start to care and think about the other things. But I really think it's God being in my life, honestly. But also, getting back to the point, because things have slowed down, I have time to think about these things a lot more and just become a bit more invested in where I'm living. Every city that I've gone to, I've never thought about these things. Even when I was in Austin, for the past 15 months, it wasn't something that I thought about because I didn't think that it was really uh, just a priority because I had my mind consumed with my business so much. So now that things have slowed down, I can start evaluating how I date, start evaluating how I initiate conversation with friends and family, start evaluating my business and areas that I never really looked into as much. And then also how I can serve the community. So all of these areas of my life could have been completely neglected if I just would have kept busy. And I think that God does this so that we can, or when I say God does this, I think God slows things down for us so that we can have the capacity to start caring about the things that He really wants us to care about, the things that serve a purpose outside of ourselves. Because when I'm super consumed with my business, it's all about me. And granted, yes, I want to service my clients, I want to give them the best experience possible. But a lot of it is rooted in me hitting a certain goal to prove my worth to whomever and saying that I am a successful entrepreneur. And I just don't care about that as much as I used to. And I'm happy that I don't because I don't think that's a sustainable life. And eventually you're going to hit a point where even if you achieve that, then you're going to be like, all right, what's next? So to me, where I'm at now and the time that I have to spend nourishing the relationships that I want to nourish, investing in the community, and just overall having a better approach on human connection, I'm really at peace with, regardless of how things shake out financially. And then also because of this move and living with my brother, I have less financial pressure to make a certain X amount each month or whatever have you. And I think that there's a beauty in that. So if you are currently living, the bachelor or bachelorette lifestyle and you're on your own and stuff, I almost challenge you to think about like, hey, if my expenses were cut in half, would I have more time and energy to put towards things that, maybe I've just been neglecting for a while? And that's how I've been feeling recently. So that's my message to y'all. I think God is preparing you. If you're in a season of it being slow and things aren't necessarily happening when you want to, God's giving you an opportunity to, one, pour into Him and lean into Him before anything else. But also, in leaning into Him, He'll reveal to you what you should be caring about a bit more. And I just encourage you to follow that more than anything. So that's all I got for today. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And I think I would really love to hear what you folks want to hear from me. So I might do a poll on Instagram, or maybe if you want to comment on this video, just let me know, like, hey, what are some things or topics that you would appreciate hearing within this podcast? And heck, like, even let me know what you prefer as far as like how long I'm chatting for. I'm not gonna do anything more than 30 minutes of talking about myself, because I just can't. I get cotton mouth, and it just, I don't think you would appreciate it. But yeah, do you prefer shorter episodes, or is the length right now fine? I'm very curious, but I appreciate y'all as always for tuning in. God bless. Have yourself a great week, and then we will check in next Thursday. Talk to you later.